Hello everybody, welcome to part 2 of mixing a subscriber's music tutorial, alright? This is going to be the second episode for Nick Silva's Too Far Gone, alright? This is the next issue, and last time we've talked about our buses, even our master bus. So now let's get to the fine details of our series, alright? So this is going to be for, I hope that I'll be able to cover it all throughout, but then again, I don't want the videos to be too long so that it will be convenient for you guys to watch it. So here it is. So our first lead vocal, so that's gonna be on the verse, or actually should I say first part. Let me see, what did we do? Alright, so then it looks like I've made a move here and it's not really doing anything because it's turned off. If I press this button, it turns on. Now it's turned off. So let's move on to token number 5, which is at 8,915 hertz. All right, Q factor of 1, and the gain is at 0 decibels. Our range, however, is at -18, so that we will be able to deal with those transients. No, not transients. Sorry, sibilants. All right, let's play it for you.
Out, holding on to yesterday. Out, holding on to yesterday.
All right, you see it goes down like that.
Out, holding on to yesterday.
All right, so that's what this setting is. Therefore, also you guys can just check out my settings here. The threshold is in the units of decibels, and the attack and release is at millisecond settings. All right, so then let's just move on. That's for dealing with it. Actually, let me go explain why I have these settings right here. 0.5 ms and for the attack, and 30 ms for the release. All right, so that you can catch those sibilants when it actually plays the sibilants. You know, that's the reason why for this fastest attack and this exact setting for this release. All right, so because this here is usually the transient, or should I say the length of the transient. It usually lasts 30 ms. All right, from the fastest, from 0.0 something ms, all right, to 30 ms. That's usually your transient. So when he says the s's and the t's, all right, it's going to usually last for 30 ms, and that's why I dealt with that. When it releases, all right, when the sibilants, when those frequencies are not crossing this threshold right here, -19.8 decibels, all right, the compressor will not do anything. It's not going to tame those other frequencies that are not sibilances, you know, because sibilance is usually louder than the rasp of the voice, and that's the case with this recording. There's nothing wrong with your recording, Nick. It's just the way it is, you know. So although you can, yeah, it's true, you can fix it in the recording process, but you can also fix it in the mixing process, you know. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't fix it in the recording process, but if you can fix it, then yeah, by all means, you know, go for it. All right, so now let's move on. All right, at token number 3, we have it set at 685 hertz. All right, the range is at -18. Again, that's what I go for, so that you will only it'll reduce only the loud parts, you know, like drastically. It's not really like drastically, but if it doesn't, so that I'll be able to, I have a range of like to the max -18, so that I don't have to put the threshold too low in order for the signal to hit that certain threshold. All right, and same attack and release settings as the one earlier. All right, the setting is to tame those middle frequencies. That's usually over here, so that's why I have this band here setting. All right, just to make our vocals a little brighter, and so that we will be able to control this frequency right here. All right, take a look.
Out, holding on to yesterday, too far in to turn away.
All right, so that's what we're taming. All right, let's go ahead and see it in action without soloing it. All right.
Out, holding on to yesterday, too far in to turn away.
All right, that keeps our vocals clear. But then again, you can also tame it by 3 decibels. All right, and you'd be fine, or something in between, maybe 1.5. It's up to you, if you don't have a dynamic EQ. But I do suggest, getting yourself a dynamic EQ so that you will have more control in the frequency spectrum, and you will have it more precise than just, dragging that band down or dragging that band up, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's move on to our vocals here in the last part. So let's just play this part. Alright, so that's what this vocals is playing. Alright, you can customize your own distortion, but let me show you what this is without the distortion. Actually, let's take off the effects. Alright, with the distortion. It's a little bit in your face because the distortion also acts as compression. And if you haven't watched my video on what distortion is, I will just click this I button right here, all right, on the top right of your screen, on the top right of this video, and it will link you to the video that I have done when it comes to what the distortion is doing. But for now, I'll let you guys you guys have heard what this distortion is doing. So it compresses the vocal a little bit and it adds that distortion, hence because in this case it's an overdrive. All right, I didn't do anything here on these individual backup vocals, but I've only done it I've bust the two of them into backup vocals right here. So let's go to the section where those vocals are playing. All right. All right, so that's what your backup vocals are playing. So let's take off the effects. With the effects. Alright, I've gone ahead and grabbed my default compressor. Oh no, sorry. My Fruity Fast Distortion from Fruity Loops. Alright, this is a stock plugin. And I've gone ahead and put the mix level to 100%. To distort, these two signals, all right? Also, I've panned them to the left and to the right so that you can have that spread, and it does not really, so that, in fact, let me show you how it plays with the main vocals so that it does not, the purpose is to get out of the way of the main vocals, which is at the center, all right? So here it is. Alright, so that's why. Alright, so now let's move on to the EQ. I have my mix level at 50%. Alright, and the reason why I have my mix level at 50%, if you have that mix knob on your like this one here, like this plugin here, it has that mix over here. If you set it at 50, it's gonna be 50% dry and 50% processed. In this case, I just did it in my DAW. All right, this is FL Studio 20. And now what we have working is the telephone effect here. All right, set it at 2K. All right, 0.4 Q factor and the gain of 0, and then solo it. All right, so that the only thing that you can hear from this equalizer is your telephone frequencies. But you can also blend it to taste. That's why we have that 50% blend to, halfway. We have our blend or our mix at 50% so that we can still have the full frequency from the distortion and your backup, hence your backup vocals, which then goes to the distortion, and then it goes to your EQ. All right. Reason why. Also, by the way, the arrangement of these two plugins are important, because if I did it like this, the only thing that this will distort is this 1K. Actually, yeah, it will distort all of it since it's 50, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to distort the whole thing first, or the dry signal first, before I give it that telephone effect. All right. So let's turn off the telephone effect, and then I'm gonna show you how it sounds like if the mix knob is at 100%. First, let's copy that. All right, and then I will put it back to where the setting is. All right, let's hear it with just the fruity fast distortion. Now with this one here, let's turn it on. Now let's put it to 100%. All right, that's the telephone effect. Now put it to 50%, it's gonna sound like this. Alright, now you're mixing this telephone frequencies to the dry signal, to the distorted signal, alright? Or should I say non-EQ'd signal. Now the reason why I put this setting here, distortion and this telephone effect, is because I wanted it to add to the that distorted effect at this section right here, alright? At that loud section, alright? If you do that to your vocals, all right, it's going to sound more like Linkin Park or heavy metal, like, or should I say, I'm not really sure which exactly genre is. I'm sorry for metal heads if I misinformed. Let me know down in the comments below if it is wrong. So there you have it. All right. And that's why I have this setting for the backup vocals, all right? So that it also complements your lead vocals, all right? In that loud mix, because remember your lead vocals has a overdrive, all right? Now I gave it a distortion, those backup vocals, all right? So now with our vocal effects, the only thing that is connected here is our two main vocals, all right? And the setting here is for the first lead vocal, which is this one here. All right, let's solo.
Standing on piles of doubt, not with it.
All right, it has all sorts of effects. All right, with the first lead vocal. And what is this setting? Let's see. 80%. All right, it's at 80%. All right, like the main vocal is you're sending 80% of the signal to this vocal effects. All right, what are these vocal effects? By the way, you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys can see these numbers over here when it comes to the gain level or the fader levels. So there you have it. I'm not gonna really say what they are unless if you guys cannot see it. I'll be reviewing the video. If I cannot see these numbers, I will put them in the description. And yeah, let's go ahead and go to vocal effects. Our first EQ is since this is the vocal effect and only 80% of the first lead vocal is sent towards the vocal effect, I've gone ahead and set that telephone effect to 100% mix, and you know, that same settings, Q factor of 0.4. all right, because you're only sending 80% of the signal of your first vocal to your vocal effects. All right, so that's why it is there. All right, and that's pretty much what I've done. Actually, also gave it 7 decibels of makeup gain. I don't know if I've mentioned this here. Let me see, where is that? Yeah, for the backup vocals, all right, for the telephone effect, I set it to 5 decibels of gain. I'm sorry I missed that, and I'm just saying it right now, but I'm glad that I remember it. Anyway, let's move on to our delay. All right, this delay over here this is how it sounds. You know, let's just put the delay. You know what, let's leave the EQ as well. All right.
Standing on piles of doubt. Standing
Without.
on piles of doubt.
All right. It kind of sounds like a slap, but it's not really it's a little bit slower than a slap delay.
Standing on piles of doubt.
It's close to being a slap. Actually, it's you know what? Let's just say it's a slap delay. You know, and that setting is 0 to 35. You know, instead of a whole beat, it's 35% of a beat. All right, that's the timing of it. All right, it may vary. I've set my tempo to 95 beats per minute, so you can I don't know if you haven't set it to 95 beats per minute. This may vary. So actually, this one here, your time settings are dependent of your tempo here, your beats per minute. All right. So that's the only. I've also increased the volume to 100%. You know, dry volume is at 80%. I did not move the stereo offset. By the way, you guys, just take a look at this hint panel. All right, whenever I hover towards a knob, so that you guys will see what I have done. All right, what setting it is that we are highlighting. Okay, so now our cutoff frequency is at 100%, meaning we're not gonna make our delay to sound a little bit dark, but we want it to have that full frequency range of whatever we're sending towards this delay. All right, we don't want to cut anything, and our feedback level is at 0%. I don't want to have too much feedback, you know, too much rather repetitions, just a single repetition of your original signal. All right, feedback, and your feedback mode is at normal. Nothing too fancy here, we're just going for that slap delay effect. Okay, now let's put on our reverb. See how it sounds like without the reverb, and let's see how it sounds like with.
Standing on piles of doubt, not within and not without.
Alright, so now with the reverb.
Standing on piles of doubt, not within and not without.
Alright, now it sounds like a stage, you know, like you're really in a stage, you know, or should I actually, the delay makes it sound like, you know, you're in a stage, but this one here, in my opinion, all right, the reverb makes it sound like you're in an auditorium, you're in a huge arena, or in an arena that has a lot of reverberation panels. So that's why you have this one here. All right, high cut All right, our EQ settings or cutoff frequency set to, like, our high cut is at 4K, our low cut is at 75 hertz. All right, I don't want it to have those unwanted low end frequencies. I don't really want it to have too much lows so that it doesn't really overload your subwoofer, and it doesn't really take up too much space on the low end or the bass frequencies, you know what I'm saying? So that's why. And I don't want our high cut setting is at 4K, for 4 kilohertz, so that we don't have what do you call that? I don't want it to be too bright, so that I don't want the sibilance to be too present, too loud, And yeah, that's pretty much it, for those high cut and low cut settings. Our room size is at 100. All right, the biggest room possible for this reverb. That's what I went for, so that it'll sound like I said, you're in an arena or in a highly reverberated arena. And now our bass multiplier is at 100, crossover is at 500. I didn't really mess with these settings, I just left it just the way it is. But for your reference, you guys know what we're going for. No pre-delay, okay? And our decay time is at 1.5 seconds. And our high damping is at 4K as well. I just pretty much matched it, I don't see why I shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? So there you have it. Our dry level is at 100. Early reflection level, meaning the very first reflection, as soon as the reflection plays by this reverb plugin, it's gonna be as loud as your dry signal. All right. Although it still depends on your wet signal. All right. Our wet settings. Our wet settings is at 70%, and our stereo separation is at 0%. All right. It's pretty much it. It's a simple setting. It's not really too complicated. It's something that will give your vocals. It gives that. It's not really making it louder, but it makes it sound like you're in an arena when it's just in your DAW. All right. And your final gain is so that is to compensate for that added gain because of all of these plugins. All right. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's hear it with just the vocals with all of these effects. All right, so let's put it here as our first vocal.
Standing on piles of doubt, not within and not without.
All right, let's turn off those effects.
Standing on piles of doubt, not within and not without.
With?
Standing on piles of doubt, not within and not without.
All right, so the combination of your telephone effect, your delay, and your reverb, all right, is what gives it that effect. So that I have this one here as well for the vocal effects, so that the only thing that will be reverberated and will be delayed is these settings, or is the telephone effect, basically. All right, just your 2K telephone. Okay, that's pretty much it. Also, for our second lead, all right, before I forget, all right, the setting is at what is this? I apologize if I really forget. All right, it's at 70%. All right, because it feels louder than your first vocal here. And you know what? Let's play it for you guys. Without the backup vocals.
Rain, rain.
All right. So that's pretty much it. Okay, without the effects. All right. Okay, it gives you that effect. All right, and that's pretty much it. Let's marry the three of them. All right, this is your backup vocals and your lead vocals on the last part. Okay, you guys, that's pretty much it. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, and hit that subscribe button if you like what you're seeing. All right, here at Outrageous Producing, what we do is we take your tracks, we mix them for you according to your reference track, the track that you want it to sound like. Maybe your favorite artist, maybe it's Alice in Chains, maybe it's Green Day. All right, we do our best to get it close, all right, to whatever your reference is, mix to however you want it to sound like, okay? And of course, that goes without saying. As a disclaimer, it still depends on your recording. So if it is a bad recording, the only thing that we can do here is work with your recording, and we might not even reach the desired reference. In that case, you can just do your redo your recordings, and maybe even do some research. But then again, that is up to you. Since you're the artist, it depends on what you want, how you want it cooked, all right, how you want this to be mixed, and that's what we're going for, okay, according to your reference track, like I said. Okay, if you think that we can improve, leave it down in the comments below. And if you have something, if it's just a general comment, leave it in the comments down below as well. We read your comments, all right, here at Outrageous Producing. All right, anyway, thank you guys for listening. Share this video if you think somebody else could benefit from it, and I'll see you guys on the next season. No, actually, next episode. All right, hopefully I'll be able to go over every single other instruments, because of time constraints, I'm only able to go through the vocals. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Happy mixing, and God bless.